Check, check. Check, check. Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Matala, and I am the advisor for the class of 2021. On behalf of these seniors and the entire Cristo Rey Jesuit community, I would like to welcome you to the Cathedral of Mary, our Queen, for the 11th commencement exercises of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School. So that everyone may enjoy this happy day, please silence all cell phones. Due to COVID-19 restrictions and the social distancing guidelines of the cathedral, please remain seated for the duration of the ceremony. If you must use the restroom, it is located at the main entrance of the cathedral. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. However, we want to ensure that all guests are safe and in compliance with Baltimore City's health guidelines. Thank you for your cooperation. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce the class of 2021. Will the class of 2021 please stand? Class of 2021, please take your seats. And now please welcome Mr. Walter Reep, Principal.
Good morning, and welcome guests and graduates. As the principal of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School, it is an honor to stand before you and to present the class of 2021. The class of 2021 has expanded CRJ's definition of leaders of social justice. As Cristo Rey Jesuit students, the class of 2021 exemplifies leaders for social justice by founding the Free Your Mind Club, a club focused on improving mental health outcomes, restarting the dance ministry, leading praise and worship through dance during prayer service, and through their participation in athletics, step team, and peer ministry. Each and every member of the class of 2001, 100% has been accepted into college. Together, this class has been awarded in merit scholarships and financial aid more than $1.4 million for the first year. And over $5.6 million collectively over 4 years. Many people contribute to the success of our students. At this time, please join me in thanking our outstanding faculty and staff. And last, but most definitely not least, I would like to thank the parents and family members of our graduates. From our hearts, We thank you for your partnership and your support over the past 4 years. Thank you.
And now please welcome Mr. John Bussey, Director of the Corporate Internship Program.
Class of 2021, wow. You are here, you made it, you deserve it. I want to thank you. Thank you for your hours and your efforts, but also for your trust and acceptance. It seems just a short while ago that we entered those CRJ doors together for the first time. And together, we should thank our many corporate and community partners for their investment in our school and the corporate internship program, but mostly for their shared belief in you and your dreams. We thank our many supervisors who give of themselves and their days to encourage and mentor and support your experiences. And again, we thank you, each of you, for thinking critically and creatively, for working collaboratively, for presenting confidently, and for showing up consistently. These are the tools of leaders we need. And when combined with your gifts, those God-given gifts, the leaders you are. Ups, downs, trials, error, challenge, hardship, confusion, through it all, I'll say just this one last time, keep striving.
We will now hear from Tyree Davis, the salutatorian for the class of 2021, and soon to be member of the class of 2025 at Howard University this fall. Our salutatorian is designated the most outstanding student worker by Cristo Jesuit's corporate internship program. Tyree has worked with MICU and more recently with Stifel Nicholas during his time with the corporate internship program. Since day one, Tyree's unique combination of maturity, professionalism, curiosity, and selflessness left an impact on all of those around him, and we are each better for it. While our corporate partners may have opened the doors of opportunity, Tyree strode confidently through and far exceeded even the highest expectations. I am pleased to invite Tyree Davis to the podium now to share a few remarks.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the senior class, I'd like to thank all the people who made Cristo Jesuit an amazing school, and of which I am proud to be graduating from. To our Lord above, who guides our feet through hallways, our pens through paper, and our spirits through controversy, we thank you. To the board of directors, for the ideas, prayers, and visions of success you bestow upon CRJ, we thank you. To the administration team, for the behind-the-scenes tough calls you make to ensure a more prosperous education for us all, we thank you. To the maintenance team, for the safe and clean environment you create endlessly so that we may learn more efficiently, we thank you. To the corporate sponsors, for your mentorship and the unique opportunities to learn about the genuine work environment, we thank you. To the faculty and staff, for your determination and perseverance in the classroom and beyond the walls of CRJ, for your investments in our education and your willingness to sacrifice for each person's individual success, for the relationships you've built that for some of us will last a lifetime, for your patience and understanding. We may not say it often, but thank you. And to our family, both tethered by blood and tethered by heart, both parents and guardians, and soulmates and best friends. We thank you for your support and investments made in all our walks of education, for your advice and wisdom that is always present when we need it most. We love you. I stand before you today as the salutatorian of Cristo Rey Jesuit senior class of 2021. I take this title and recognition open-heartedly because my entire freshman year, I believed I was in the wrong place. Not only did I not physically fit in at Cristo Rey, but I overlooked the amount of potential that was here. Early 8th grade year, I planned to go to McDonough, Mount St. Joseph, or Calvert Hall for high school. However, things didn't work out that way, and I landed here instead. I still feel that as a win, but a win of lower quality. It was not until my first day as an intern at MECU, Municipal Employees Credit Union, that I realized the advantage I had gained from becoming a Hornet. Whilst being a part of the facilities management team, I learned the importance of employees' comfort and safety. I had the privilege to interview and share a meal with the CEO, COO, and CFO of MECU. In the course of 2 years, I built relationships not only with my supervisor, but with all the employees amongst all the floors, some of which shared hundreds of scholarship applications and websites with me. Some even were present at our step competitions. In the wake of my junior year, I decided to embark on a new journey at Stiefel. Though I only spent 3/4 of a year with Stiefel and Equity Compass physically, I have left with knowledge that I will not only use as a future employee, but as an adult as well. I frequently shared lunch with employees while getting to know them. They spend a lot of time outside of the workplace and have a really genuine friendship. This relationship between them created an environment that was always welcoming and comforting to learn in. I quickly decided that this is where I wanted to study as an intern for the rest of my days at Cristo Rey. That goes to show that it takes nothing more than a nice lunch to reel me in. But on a serious note, I learned all the terms and lingo involving stocks, bonds, and investments. I learned the importance of proper organization, and I was ensured that the work I did, though it may have seemed small, was a pivotal piece in helping the company flourish. The mentorship, experience, and connections I've built at my internships at Cristo Rey were special and unmatched. I am forever grateful for the lessons, wisdoms, and time you've all invested into me. Now to address my class. This section of my speech took the longest to craft. After being away from you all for such a long time, I wasn't prepared for this moment. However, after reflecting on our voyage through Cristo Rey, it became clear to me what to say. We're done. Like, we're done with this. After today, we're gone. Like, for real, this was hard. If you would have told freshman me what was in store, he walked right out them doors. He would not even try. And some of you in the audience don't believe me, but I have a few trigger words for my class, and just see how they react. Number 1, pumpkin spice. Yup. The freshman year incident, there isn't enough time in the day to explain that. So number 2, Excel courses. Oh, when we had to do that again this year, I almost gave up. And here's the last one. And you knew you was in trouble if you heard this. Y'all know what I'm about to say. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, son, let me talk to you. See? Some of you instinctively packed all your things because you knew you were heading straight to Lipsy's office for the rest of the day. But for real, we've come a really long way. From Father Toole sticking his head in the picture frame in almost every theology class, to Mr. Dusonfili's iconic Kahoot dance, to Dr. Matala's Oprah impression in which you get a jug, everyone got a jug. And there was little to no one in the cafeteria that day. And we of course can't forget the pet rally, in which Bryson Tiller was advertised to be performing, but instead we received an off-key rendition of Don't by Mr. Hall. So yes, we're ready to go. But before we do, I have a serious message to leave. We've all worked tirelessly these past 4 years. And as I reflect on my time spent here, I acknowledge my efforts as an overachiever. From the work I put in the classroom and in extracurricular activities, such as peer ministry, SGA, the STEP team, morning announcements, and choir. I've come to find out that I've filled almost every aspiration and expectation for high school. However, there is one box that is still unchecked. To you all who were not involved in my previously mentioned activities, I failed in making our relationships deeper than one of a classmate's. And in light of losing a classmate, a friend, a granddaughter who was dear to me, I recognize the lack of my attendance within most of our relationships. So yes, working hard is important. It is necessary and should be. Working hard is important. It is necessary and it deserves to be sacrificed for. However, working hard should not come at the expense of your relationships, whether that be with your family, your friends, or yourself. Now, I don't regret these previous 4 years at Cristo Rey. It's just that sometimes I wish I would have done more. I wish I could have made one more joke in class to hear Gabby's laugh once more extra that day. I wish I would have put off my extra credit assignment until after school instead of working through lunch so that we could sit and debate whether or not we were hungry enough to attempt to eat lunch that day. I wish I had a few more days off from my multiple after-school activities to make it to a few more of her soccer games. Overall, I wish I made myself available to make a lot more memories. And so I offer some advice, not only for our graduating seniors, but additionally to everyone else in the audience. Make yourself available to make a few more memories. Enjoy the things you can enjoy. Enjoy the people you have while you have them. Enjoy the time you have whilst you have it. Because if there's one thing that's certain to be gone once it's left your hands, it's time. And right now, it's time to celebrate us. So congratulations to us, and I'm so proud that we've all made it this far. Let's make a few more memories. Thank you.
At this time in our program, we pause to offer 3 special awards to graduating seniors: the Asia Ring Memorial Award, the Pedro Arrupe S.J. Faith That Does Justice Prize, and the Cristo Rey Way Award. Our admissions director, Mrs. Patricia Hill, will acknowledge the first award.
The Asia Ring Memorial Award honors the memory of Asia Ring, a beloved employee of Cristo Rey Jesuit's corporate internship program. The awardee will receive a certificate and a specially commissioned medal following the ceremony. This award is given to the member of the senior class who has most consistently demonstrated Asia's best qualities: the determination to succeed despite obstacles and setbacks, a strong work ethic, a straight-talking, no-nonsense, down-to-earth approach to life, a unique confidence in one's own self, a loving nature, and a great sense of humor. The winner of the 2021 Asia Ring Memorial Award is Melissa Mushayuma. Would you please stand? Just stand, Melissa. Congratulations.
Ms. Georgia McElroy, Vice Principal, will now present the Pedro Arrupe S.J. Faith That Does Justice Prize.
The Pedro Orupe S.J. Faith That Does Justice Prize is named for the former Superior General of the Jesuits. Considered the second founder of the Society of Jesus, Pedro Orupe ushered in a renewed focus on social justice for Jesuits during the 1970s. He called for us to put our faith into action. We should be living the gospel call to love each other and look out for the least among us. This award is given to the member of the senior class who exemplifies the spirit of Pedro Orupe, the student who has gone beyond the community service requirements, shown compassion to those less fortunate, and shows a commitment to being a voice for the voiceless. This senior also shows an understanding of social change, a willingness to be a peacemaker in school and community settings, and a genuine desire to develop a personal spirituality. The winner receives a gift certificate and a Cristo Rey medal following this ceremony. The winner of the 2021 Pedro Orupe S.J. Award is Alicia Hamilton. Would you please stand? Congratulations, Alicia.
Mr. Walter Reep will now present the Cristo Rey Way Award.
The Cristo Rey Way Award is given annually to the member of the senior class who most exemplifies the qualities of the Cristo Rey Way. The selected student has consistently demonstrated sterling character, personal integrity, excellent attendance, a caring disposition, a clear commitment to community service, and a steadfast work ethic. Eager to help others and honest in all dealings, this student has made academic study and job performance priorities and has also gone out of his or her way to be a model citizen in the school community. The awardee will receive a specially commissioned medal following this ceremony that bears the words, Admirum Dei Gloriam, for the greater glory of God. The winner of the 2000 Cristo Rey Way Award is Jaden Johnson. Would you please stand? Congratulations, Jaden.
And now please welcome our president, Dr. Bill Heiser.
It is a great honor of mine today to introduce this year's commencement speaker, a national leader in higher education and the current president of Maryland's preeminent public urban research university, Morgan State University. It is Dr. David Wilson. With an accomplished career with more than 30 years of experience in higher education, Dr. Wilson has served Morgan State for the last 11. His vision and leadership advanced MSU by elevating Morgan's research classification to R2, a status reserved for doctoral universities with high research activity, achieving a 17% participation rate, a giving rate higher than most private HBCUs and higher than many public regional universities nationwide, reaching the highest graduation rate in 10 years, completing a historic $250 million anniversary campaign, the largest in Morgan's history, and procuring $35 million in research grant awards from the NIH, and expanding the academic programs to include 11 new degree programs, and constructing multiple state-of-the-art facilities to create a strong student experience. I have great admiration for Dr. Wilson as a leader, for his many accomplishments while president of Morgan that I just mentioned, but also because he is a known consensus builder and a strong believer in transparency of process. His educational philosophy is to put student experiences first, and his ultimate goal is to make Morgan a leader in producing the next wave of innovators in the United States. Many of our alumni attend Morgan State. Students, faculty, family, and friends, it is my pleasure to welcome this year's graduation speaker, Dr. David Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Heisner, for those very kind words of introduction to, of course, Principal Reap, to members of the Board of Trustees, to all of the dedicated faculty and staff of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School, to the many faculty members, family members, and guests who are assembled here this afternoon, and most of all, to those amazing graduates of 2021, I am really honored. I'm humbled and honored to be here this afternoon, and so delighted that you have invited me to celebrate this incredible milestone with you. I really want to congratulate what I heard was 100% of you being accepted into college. Give yourself a round of applause, please. And then, on top of that, you are going with $1.5 million in scholarship. That is an amazing accomplishment, and thank you very much, Cristo Rey. I also want to say to Tyree, I really appreciated your remarks. I appreciate your excellence. I appreciate your eloquence. And I wish you well as you go to that amazing university to the south of us. And so congratulations to you. I look forward to hearing as well the valedictory address by Ashley Uraza. And I congratulate her. And I congratulate all of the award winners that have been announced. Now, I really want you to know that you, the graduating class, are victorious conquerors. Let me say that again. You are victorious conquerors. And we have come here today to acknowledge that and to celebrate all of your achievements despite the challenges that I know you have confronted along the way. You know, I certainly can remember being a teenager on the eve of my own high school graduation, yes, decades ago. And yes, I can still think back that far because your high school graduation ceremony is the event that stays with you forever. And so as for myself, some of you may have heard a little bit of my background. Yes, I have 4 college degrees, 2 from Tuskegee and 2 from Harvard University. But that was never, ever supposed to happen. I had grown up in extreme poverty in rural Alabama on the eve of my high school graduation. And my youth there was just riddled with all kinds of challenges. I never, ever imagined that I would ever finish high school. Because, you know, there were no laws in Alabama that required black children to go to school. And so I grew up on a sharecropping plantation in rural Alabama, and my father farmed cotton, and he had a system in place. We had 10 children where we would go to school 2 days a week, and then he would keep us out 3, and then he would reverse it the second week. And so I was literally in the 7th grade before I was able to attend school on a regular basis, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, along the way, I learned how to read in the most unusual way. You know, the owners of this plantation on which we lived would bring down to this little shanty. It was a shanty because it had no electricity, it had no plumbing, it had none of that. But they would bring down Look and Life magazines, and my mom would ask us as children to plaster these things against the wall of this shanty to keep the cold wind out. And that's how I learned how to read, and that's how I learned that there was a whole wide world out there that needed exploring. And so I was able to go all over the world without ever leaving the confines of that little shanty. But along the way, I could have given up. But I refused to give in to those daunting challenges. I refused to give up on my dream. Instead of giving up, I reached deep down inside of myself, and I drew on my inner strength. I drew on my belief in God, and I persisted, and I obtained that high school diploma. Now, I say that, if you will, because there's a whole lot more where that comes from, but that's not why I'm here today. I just give you a preference. Because even with all that I faced as a young man growing up with those challenges, I just simply cannot imagine what your junior and senior years of high school have been like for you with all that has transpired in the world leading up to this moment in your lives. I know that your young eyes have seen more than they were prepared to see at this early stage in your lives. I believe when history books look back on the years 2020 and 2021, these years will stand amongst the most challenging moments in the history of the human race. So I want you to feel extremely proud today, for you have looked unimaginable, destructive, and evil forces right in the eyes. And you too, much like I did during my teenage years, you were not deterred, and you stayed true to reaching your goal. And so once again, graduates, I want you to applaud yourselves for not giving up, giving in along the way, but coming to this moment where you're about to cross the finish line. Applaud yourselves for that. In 2020, we saw so much that we wish we could just simply erase from our memories. We saw a woman's life, for example, taken while she merely attempted to get a good night's sleep. We saw a jogger hunted like an animal and shot down in the street. We saw life extinguished in a street gutter for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. We saw a rebellious and violent mob storm the steps of our Capitol in an attempt to disrupt our democracy. We saw the inception and rapid spread of a virus that has claimed nearly 4 million lives around the world. Yes, graduates and friends, we saw a lot. We saw frustration. We saw pain. We saw hopelessness. We saw helplessness. We saw frustration. We saw anger. We saw hate. We saw bigotry. We saw blatant racism. And we saw deadly violence. But with all that we saw and all that we will continue to see, My message to you this afternoon is a very, very simple one. It is this: don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. And I want you to see your tomorrows with that clear 2020 vision, if you will. Now, you know, the term 2020 vision is used in the field of optometry to indicate what is considered normal visual acuity, and to have this 2020 vision is said to possess the ability to see something at a distance of 20 feet. But I must tell you that contrary to popular belief and opinion, one who possesses this 2020 vision does not necessarily have perfect vision. But you're supposed to simply be able to possess the sharpness and the clarity to see something at a distance. And so I want you to see your tomorrow. I want you to see your tomorrows with this sharpness. I want you to see your tomorrows with this clarity. I want you to see your tomorrows with the understanding that there will be lots of roadblocks ahead of you that you will have to maneuver. But I want you to have been, but I know that you have been imbued with the skills here at Cristo Rey to drown out the noise that you will encounter and to overcome whatever challenges the world will throw your way. I want you to see hope in your tomorrows. I want you to see and to embrace love and understanding and empathy for others. I want you to see yourselves as the future leaders who will keep the vision of our nation clear and inclusive and hate-free. I want you graduates to see in your tomorrows a commitment on your part to always do the right thing by others. I believe when you see these things in your tomorrows and you are committed to a life of embracing them, that you will live a purpose-driven, peaceful life free of destructive anger. Now, let me just share with you a very brief story before I bring my remarks to a close about what I mean by doing the right thing. And I've told you about the way that I grew up, but in 1989, I was selected from a group of, about 4,000 or 5,000 people in the United States to be a part of a group of 40 people under 35 years old, to be given a 3-year experience around the world. And in 1990, 4 months after the release of Mr. Mandela in South Africa, I went there. And I was bold. I went with 3 other up-and-coming leaders. And we wrote to Mr. Mandela, and we wrote to Walter Sisulu. We wrote to 6 African presidents and asked if we could get an audience with them. And every one of them gave these young up-and-coming leaders an audience. But the conversation that changed my life forever was one with the late Mr. Walter Sisulu. He was in prison for 28 years with Mr. Mandela, of which 7 of those years were in solitary confinement. And when we went down to his very modest office on Victoria Street in Johannesburg, and he had this amazing conversation with us, we left thinking that Mr. Sisulu harbored no anger or bitterness toward the society that had locked him away for 28 years. But you know what? We said we cannot leave South Africa without hearing that directly from him. And so we called the office and asked if he would agree to see us again before we came back to the United States. And he said yes. And we went down early that morning. And we assembled again in his modest office. And he came in the office And now I'm about to quote that conversation because it is indelibly ingrained in who I am. My comrades, he said, my assistant told me that I sent you away yesterday thinking. You need to know that thinking is a good thing. Now, what can I do for you this morning? And I said, well, Mr. Sisulu, when we left yesterday, we stayed up all night debating whether you harbored any anger or bitterness toward the society that locked you away for 28 years, of which 7 of those years were literally in a 5-by-7 cell. Are we right? And he paused for about 10 seconds, and then he said, you are absolutely right. I harbor no anger or bitterness toward the society that locked me away for 28 years. And you want to know why? Because every year of those 27 years, every month and every year, every week and every month, every day and every week, every hour and every day, every minute and every hour, I had no time for anger or bitterness because my comrades, I knew then, I know now, and I will know until my last breath is gone from this body that what I did was the right thing. And so, as you seek to be transformational leaders, my advice to you as you take this plane back to the United States, always commit to doing the right thing. And when you do, there is never, ever any room in your heart for anger or for bitterness. The about to be alums of Cristo Rey, you have received an amazing education here. Go out there and look at that world that you are about to experience. If it's not what you want it to be, yes, you are imbued with the perspectives and the tools, and you're going to continue to refine those when you leave this place to reshape it and to remake it. And so as I bring my remarks to a close, I really want to congratulate all that you have achieved, but more importantly, I want to remind you that no matter what you face in the future, whatever you face, reflect on the words of Helen Keller, and I might butcher them a little bit because I'm going to paraphrase it. She said something like the following. She said, Helen Keller, one of the things that I absolutely despise is a person with 20/20 eyesight but can't see ahead of themselves. So don't stop thinking about those tomorrows. Don't stop thinking about these special places that are waiting to be built by you. Don't stop seeing in those tomorrows places of unity, places of peace, places of equity, places of justice, places of fairness and equality for everyone. Congratulations to all of you again. Godspeed, and I certainly hope that some of that $1.5 million has been placed before you and your parents by our national treasure, Morgan State University, and if so, I look forward to seeing those of you who are coming our way as you make your way to our lovely campus in August of this year. Congratulations to all of you once again. Godspeed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson, for those inspiring words. We would now like to take a moment to acknowledge our seniors who have received several academic awards and special accolades for outstanding achievement, dynamic performance, and special contribution to the class of 2021 and the entire Cristo Rey community. Will these award recipients please stand? These are the people who received the special senior awards. I'm not reading off a list of names, but please stand if you received an award for the senior, for your classes, for excellence, awards for most improved student. You may now be seated. The class valedictorian is the member of the class of 2021 who has achieved in his or her core classes the highest academic grade point average over the course of his or her 4 years at Cristo Rey Jesuit. This student has set the bar for academic excellence in the class of 2021. Ashley Yarosa's spiritual and social justice formation can be identified not only by her intellectual curiosity, but how she embraces the opportunity to stand in solidarity with others. Although quiet by nature, Ashley stands on the shoulders of giants and is triumphant in every imaginable way. As a member of the Ignatian Family Teach-In for Justice in Washington, D.C., Ashley was called to connect her Catholic faith and justice by addressing relevant issues in collaboration with other Jesuit schools and elected officials. Please join me in congratulating Ashley Yarosa, the class of 2021 valedictorian, and also soon-to-be member of the class of 2025 at Johns Hopkins University this fall.
Good afternoon. Thank you to all the loved ones, faculty, staff, and sponsors who are present here today to celebrate the class of 2021. It was only 3 years ago that I watched my sister graduate with the class of 2018, so it makes me proud to see that it is our class sitting here today. I am honored to stand up here with the title of valedictorian. I was told I had won this title only a week ago. You can imagine how overwhelmed I felt, having only a few days to write this speech. Nevertheless, I'll say it's my time to shine, and I will take full advantage of this moment. I don't want to take this time to talk about the hardships our class has faced these past 4 years. It is evident that we went through more than we could have imagined. For me, it went from getting lost on the first day of school, to the pumpkin spice incident, to a global pandemic, to a toilet paper crisis, to me losing a second grandparent, and all of us losing a beloved classmate. To say the least, it has been challenging, and we continue to live through history in the making. I do want to take this time to talk about the hardships of those whose shoulders we stand on. I come from a family of immigrants, and at the age of 9, I began to live in a single-parent household. It was a change that would prove to be difficult. My mother did not know English, she did not have a job, and she could not drive. For my siblings and I, my mother was capable of doing the impossible. She learned English, bought a small car, and got 2 jobs to make ends meet. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but I didn't have a village. My mother would prove to be all I needed. I spent a long time thinking about what motivated me, and I finally have an answer. It is her sweat and tears that pushed me to work harder. Ever since I was little, she would come home with aches and pain, but she always made sure my siblings and I had a home-cooked meal. She always put us before herself. When we would get sick, she would sit at our bedside and say, "Sana, sana, colita de rana." When it was cold outside, she would make sure we were bundled up. When we said we wanted a toy, she would take us to the thrift store. When we disappointed her, she made sure to give us a long lecture. And finally, when we saw her persevere, she would instill in us the passion and drive we now carry with us. My mother has been working all these years, 6 days a week, sometimes 7. I sometimes hold her rough hands and think of the challenge that every scar holds. Her fingers are stiff and crooked so that I could be standing here in my cap and gown. She says that I shouldn't worry about making her proud, telling me to focus on doing what makes me happy. However, I am doing this for you and because of you, Mom. I want you to know that everything you have done for me has not been taken for granted. I appreciate you more than you know. I take advantage of every opportunity you give me and make the most of it. Because of this, I now have the chance to further my education and hope to be at least half the woman you are. And to my dad, who is also sitting here today, thank you. Thank you for deciding to support me in whatever I choose to do and giving me advice I will always cherish. However, it isn't just me who is starting a new chapter. I want all of my fellow graduates sitting here today, I want to ask you, what motivates you? We may be graduating, but our work isn't done. There are still injustices to fight for, change to be made, and people who need help. We still have greater things to accomplish. Whatever path we choose to take, whether it be going to college, joining the military, or joining the workforce, we will be told no multiple times and probably fail once or twice. But from what we have faced these past years, it is apparent that we can do anything we set our minds to. Even so, let us not forget to embrace each day and each moment of our lives. Let us cherish every second we have. Let the smiles of our loved ones bring us joy. I lost my first grandfather at the beginning of last year and my second at the beginning of this year. The only thing I wished I had was more time with them. These past 4 years have not been the best years of my life, but I have made great memories. I will never forget Juan and Frank running around the cafeteria, always goofing off in Mr. McIntyre's class, going very off-key in choir rehearsals, and much more. Through good and bad times, I can say that we have been there for one another. Even if it was just letting me know what the Zoom link was for math class, or making a group chat to talk about how draining a class was, I appreciate all the help and support I've received from each one of you. Your captivating spirits filled the halls of Cristo Rey, and it is something I wish I had more time to experience. I will never forget Tyree's catchy motto that he said at every morning announcement: let's have a great CRJ day, the CRJ way, and fly anyway. Yes, fly away, fly anyway, and fly high, Hornets. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ashley. We will now enjoy an instrumental performance of You Are My Rock by Chance Hatcher, class of 2021 pianist. Thank you, Chance. At this time, we would like to honor a beloved member of the class of 2021.
As we gather today before God in this beautiful cathedral to celebrate the class of 2021, we feel the weight of a clear, noticeable absence. The absence of our beloved classmate and friend, Gabby. Gabby was a beautiful light in this world, a light that we deeply miss and grieve. In a moment, we will pause in silence to reflect and remember Gabby. During that time, think of Gabby, her smile, and her sense of humor. But more importantly, think about how we continue to feel her presence in our lives. How we feel her presence when we find joy in ordinary moments. How we feel her presence each time we share gratitude. How we feel her presence when we show our family and friends that we love them in our words and our deeds. We will carry Gabby with us always. Now let us pause for a moment of silence to remember the life and light of Gabby Gervais. Thank you.
And now, we are pleased to present to you the Cristo Rey Jesuit High School Class of 2021. We ask that you please remain seated and keep the aisles clear for the graduates. Graduates, please come forward when your name is called.
The following members of the Cristo Rey Jesuit High School Class of 2021 have successfully completed the prescribed course of studies and are awarded a high school diploma. Andrea Linda Dorothea Adams. Mariah Nashe Bell.
Raylan Christopher Bethea.
Corey Lamont Bowden, Jr.
Malcolm Kai Bridgeforth.
Ariana Twana Brown.
Tion Dante Buxton.
Teron Daniel Buxton.
Lathan Victor Bird.
Eduardo Bazbeli Castillo Villegas.
Kumara Anaya Chapman.
Anna Karen Cuado Ventura.
Michael Lee Davis.
Tyree Rodney Davis.
Michelle Dominguez Cabrera.
Jalen Capri Evans.
Justin Valencio Vargas.
Demetrius Kareem Fields.
Taylor Susie Forward.
Breon Dante Griffin.
Miquel Antoine Griffin, Jr.
Anthony Xavier Gutierrez.
Alicia Charlie Hamilton.
Chance Tornell Hatcher.
Jasmine Rashia Houston.
Sanaya Irie Jackson.
Corey Alexandra Johnson.
Jaden Markel Johnson.
Scipio Jones III.
Amaya Janae Jones-Core.
Curtis Colombo.
Georgia Ruth Keene.
Sanaya Amira Key Rock.
Sanaya Amira Key Rock. Linnell Lorraine Lane.
Chloe Gabrielle LaRue.
Jamal Khalil Lee.
Isis Marilyn Marks Hamilton.
Jamel Reds Mason.
Tiana Desiree McCoy. Matthew Malik Manaya.
Jasmine and Isabel Kayiba Moutier. Melissa Fayida Mushayuma. Jasmine Morelli Ortega Ramirez.
Deasia Mackenzie Parker.
Micaiah Lynn Peterson.
Frank Teo Richardson.
Taylor Janiyah Richmond.
Ethan Zoe Stevens.
Angel Michonne Stewart.
Aaliyah Monet Talbert.
Nellie Priscilla Tenazaka Pukar. Justine Dea Shipepele. Marquise Leonard Tunstall.
Jayon Markel Tyson.
Ashley Yeroza.
Juan Antonio Varela.
Marco Antonio Villegas.
Drayvon Michael Webb.
Delia Michelle White.
Jordan Simone Williams.
Richard Stanley Williams.
Danae Michonne Laverne Winkler.
Deshaun Stephen Yarborough.
Jacinia Zabella. Now, will the class of 2021 please stand, all stand? You may now signify your new status as graduates of Cristo Rey Jesuit High School by moving the tassel from the right to the left. Congratulations, class of 2021. You may be seated.
We close this joyous day with a benediction offered by Father Rick Malloy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not over till the fat priest prays, huh? We invite the graduates of the class of 2021 to remain seated. We invite everyone else at this point to please stand as we pray for these young scholars today. We encourage and invite everyone to pray in the faith tradition in which you root your souls. In the Catholic tradition, we begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. In nome del Padre, del Hijo, e del Spirito Santo. Amen. Each morning at Cristo Rey Jesuit, we start the day with St. Ignatius's prayer for generosity. Today of all days, we thank God for the abundance of blessings in your lives, and as we thank God for the blessing you are for our world, we modify this familiar prayer. Lord, teach us to be generous. Teach us to recognize when those around us are in need. Teach us to give of ourselves. Teach us to serve you as you deserve. Teach us to act out of love toward our neighbors. Teach us to live out this call. To give and not to count the cost, to give freely of our gifts, to give and expect nothing in return, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to fight for what is right and good in this world, to fight against the sin and evil of racism in all its insidious forms, to fight for and with those on the margins and the voiceless, to toil and not to seek for rest, to toil for our own good and the good of our communities, to toil for the greater glory of God, to labor and not to seek reward, to labor for the rights of those less fortunate, to labor for the good of Baltimore and the entire world. Ultimately, we ask for nothing more than your love and your grace, Your love and your grace, Lord, are enough for us, and we will know that we do your will. St. Ignatius of Loyola, pray for us. And now I invite everyone to extend your right hand over these graduates. Queremos inclinar la cabeza para pedir la bendición de Dios. We want to bow our heads and pray for God's blessing. May God grant you joy this day for the journey long, courage for the choices, faith for freedom's song, hope to heal all hurt and sadness, love to last all days, till our lives in harmony join God in endless praise. May Almighty God bless you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
This will conclude today's celebration. Please remain seated and do not exit the cathedral. Mrs. Hill will dismiss each family individually to adhere to proper social distancing guidelines. Graduates, upon individual dismissal, please make your way directly to the table under the canopy located outside, directly across from the cathedral's main entrance to receive your diploma and/or award. We wish our graduates Godspeed, and we offer each and every one of you heartfelt and sincere thanks for sharing today with us.